The San Francisco 49ers potentially can have their hands full if they don't take care of these biggest threats. What's going on, 49er faithful? Welcome to The Biggest Threats, sponsored by Residency. Listen, you want to get one of your coolest fit hats? Go to residency.com. Use the promo code SFBreezy. Save on your total purchase right now while you're watching. Also, don't forget to hit that like button. Make sure you click on subscribe if this is your first time watching. And leave a comment in the comment section because I want to know, who do you feel like is the biggest threat out of the 5 guys that I've picked? Who's your biggest threat? Let me know in the comment section. All right, here we go. Let's get down to it so we're not wasting any time. I got him scrolling down there. We got running back Kenneth Walker III, wide receiver DK Metcalf, wide receiver Jackson Smith and Jigba, defensive end Leonard Floyd. Some people feel like he's old. I don't. And then safety Julian Love. So listen, they got some guys that we're going to want to pay attention to. I can tell you that right now. And if you let these guys kind of like go undetected, however you want to call it, there's a potential way that they can have big games. Now, my biggest threats guys came to life. They handled one of them. They took care of Marvin Harrison in week 5, but they allowed the other guys to do their thing. They got to take care of these 5 guys because these 5 guys are what I like to call game changers. They can literally change the game in one play. Now, let's start with running back. We'll start with running back Kenneth Walker III. Listen, Kenneth Walker III, man, when he's healthy, he's on. He's a running back. That's what he does. He does what running backs are supposed to do for teams. He literally can carry the team on his back if needed be. All right. So listen, Kenneth Walker III seems to be good to go. And he seems like he's getting back into, I guess you could say, football shape. Or whatnot. He did have an injury earlier to the season. I know we're in a young season, but he's back. And I expect Kenneth Walker to be a problem out there on the football field. So the San Francisco 49ers definitely got to take care of this young gentleman right here. Here's what he's really good at, right? He can catch out of the backfield. Okay, that's number 1. Number 2, he is elusive, right? It's hard to bring down, and he breaks tackles, right? And then his yards after the contact are crazy. So, I mean, this dude has 202 yards on the ground out of the first 5 games, right? But 130 of those yards are after the contact. So he could be a problem, man. That the Niners need to make sure that they definitely find a way to own in on this young gentleman. If Zach Charbonnet has to come in, they still got to continue to take away the run game. That's some of the keys to victory. But they definitely need to pay attention to Kenneth Walker III. I believe he's a game changer. If the Seahawks get him going early in the run game, they're going to have their passing game going. So you definitely want to find a way to eliminate this young fella right here. Number 2, DK Metcalf, size and speed alone separates him from a lot of the wide receivers in the NFL. Luckily, last year we had a guy that was able to match up well in Charvarius Ward. Luckily, this year we still have that guy. The question is, which version of Ward is going to show up? Are we going to get the version that shut DK Metcalf down in the 2 games that they played each other? Or we're going to get the version that's kind of been looking a little iffy out there for San Francisco this year. Hasn't looked like an all-pro cornerback this year. So it could be a little weird, but I'm putting my money on Ward. I just think I like the matchup. But if we don't match up well and we don't cover him well, he's an explosive guy down the field because I said his speed. They will put him in the slot. Expect DK Metcalf to somehow get into that slot role and try to take advantage of whoever we have lined up in the slot. So whether it's going to be Diamador Lenore or Isaac Yedem, however they put him in there, if they do 3 wide receiver sets, watch out for him. They got a trio of wide receivers, and they will be coming out in a lot of 11 personnel. That's the way they run it. That's the way they run their offense. 1 tight end, 1 running back, 3 wide out. So we can see our nickel package on the field for the majority of this game. They got to find a way to eliminate this guy and his explosiveness, whether it's down the field, whether it's over the middle of the field. He's going to make catches. He has fumbled the ball a couple of times in the past 2 games, 1 in each game. He does have a hand injury. So maybe the Niners find a way to take advantage of that and use that to their advantage. But you got to find a way to take away the threat of DK Metcalf. Number 3, I said I got 2 wide receivers, and number 3 is going to be Jackson Smith and Jigba. This little man is all over the field, and he's their new version of Tyler Lockett. I know Tyler Lockett is still there, but he can do it all. I call him the utility guy. He can line up in the slot. He can line up outside with speed. He can line up in the backfield. This is the guy, the X, Y, and the Z that they will use to get explosive plays. Now, he doesn't have too many big explosive plays on this season, but he hasn't played the 49ers yet, and I feel like that's what we do. We give up explosives. The Niners need to be zoned in on him. If we're going to be playing man, I need Diamador Lenore on him in man coverage. If we're going to be playing zone, I need these guys to be in their spots and their spaces because he's going to find the holes in the zone. Hopefully, the Niners pass rush negates the time for Geno Smith to throw the ball. But listen, there was a play last week where Jackson Smith and Jig was running down the field looking for the pass, and Geno Smith is fake passing it for at least 30 yards. So that means Geno Smith picked up 30 yards on a fake pass attempt because he sold it. The kid is very smart, very wise. Don't let him go undetected. And he was the one that had a better game against the 49ers over DK Metcalf the past couple of times we played. He was hurt the first one, I believe, and then he played in the second one, or vice versa. But I do know he had a better game than DK. So you got to find a way to eliminate him because they got to find a way to move chains. He's responsible for about 9 first downs so far this season. Got to find a way for them to 15 of the first downs, not 9, 15 of first downs for the team. That's a lot. That means he's moving the chains. I call him the chains mover. So we got to find a way to eliminate the threat of Jackson Smith and Jigba. Listen, I know he's old. This is he's in this league for 10 years. Must be his 11th season or 10th season. At the end of the day, he's still a force to be reckoned with. We're talking about defensive end Leonard Williams. Don't let that oldness fool you. I feel like he still has grown ass man strength out there on the football field. And the right side can have a day. If they line him up on the left side, Trent Williams, Aaron Banks in those gaps. Remember, they kind of run like a 3-4 type of defense. So it's going to be interesting to see which side he chooses to line up on. Will he be trying to take advantage of the gaps between Trent Williams and Aaron Banks, or between Colton McKivitz and Dominic Pooney? My guess is going to go on the easier side, which is the rookie and Colton McKivitz, but we'll see what happens. You just don't want to lose sight of this dude out there because he can wreck shop in the backfield. He only has 1.5 sacks on the season, but again, don't let the stats fool you. They're playing the Niners. This is a divisional game. Stakes are really high in this game, and players typically tend to go all freaking out. Their best player this year, in my opinion, is Julian Love. All right, this is their safety. He is dealing with a hamstring injury. He has been limited at practice, but I'm getting a green light that he's going to 9 times out of 10 play. Julian Love is a player that you want to make sure you figure out. Now, I get flashbacks of Kyle Hamilton, and no, he's not Kyle Hamilton, but I feel like that's how Mike Macdonald is going to use him. He's going to let him play free. You don't want him playing free. You want him in coverage. You want him trying to make a decision on what to do. You don't want him out there dictating. I think that's what Mike Macdonald is going to allow Julian Love to do, and that's kind of dictate what Brock Purdy does. We say take what the defense gives you, but on the flip side, you got to force him to make a play. Force Julian Love to make a play. Now, Brock has been throwing some tip passes and things like that and interceptions. I don't expect that. He only has 1 interception on the year, but the Niners need to go out there and find a way. I say attack that middle of the field, attack him, force him to be in coverage and use it, make him have to make a play on the ball. But don't overlook his athleticism. Don't overlook the things that he does well. He is a top 5 safety in the game for a reason. He doesn't miss a lot of tackles. He can line up in the box. He's interchangeable. So that's what makes him a threat, right? He can line up down in the box in the line of scrimmage. He can line up back, play deep. He's a safety that the 49ers typically covet. So Julian Love can be a problem out there on the football field, and the Niners, you better not overlook this threat. I mean, I know it's a defensive, and usually don't talk about defensive players being threats, but when he can sit there and give his team the ball back, that's a threat to me in my book. Just a quick recap. We got Julian Love. All right. We got Leonard Williams. We got Jackson Smith and Jigba. We got DK Metcalf. And last but not least, we got Kenneth Walker III. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section of the show. Which one of my 5 players is the biggest threat? And if you feel like there's a player I did not talk about, feel free to leave it in the comment section. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe if you're new, and make sure you leave a comment. Shout out to everybody out there. Keep it faithful to the Bay, and thanks for watching. Peace.